Hey guys, welcome back to episode number 7 of DUBS podcast, and today we got a special one for you, and when I mean special, it's a special one. In light of everything that's going on around our country, Minneapolis with the death of George Floyd, all the protests around the country, we wanted to bring you an episode to show you why sports are needed so much more now. And throughout this episode, we're going to be discussing like the impact that sports have had on all of us. We all played on the same team last year and the year before, past 2 years, and we've played different sports, and we just wanted to show the difference it makes in our lives and how it only brings good to our country. So who wants to start off? It's open floor. Explain how sports have impacted you.
I'll start first.
I remember. Okay.
Oh, from a perspective. Sorry, my bad, Shelly. But
you're good.
From a perspective coming from like someone who's very like in the Latino community, like very Mexican oriented. Like culture is super important in my home, in my lifestyle. Like my parents are they speak Spanish only. They're very introverted. They don't make a lot of friends that aren't from the same culture as us. So I think sports are like a huge opportunity for me, and not only me, but like I've seen it impact like my family. Like for example, when we played high school ball, like my family made new friends that weren't like, it was out of their comfort zone, for example. And I don't know, like it's really like sports to me is really powerful in that everyone, like no matter what differences you have, no matter what color your skin is, like everyone is working as a team in like baseball, football, basketball towards the same objective, which is to win. Everyone pushes together. I love seeing how everyone, no matter what differences you have, push together towards the same goal. It's really powerful. It's really powerful to me, and it just shows how you can really build a community from not like from just one simple team. Like I saw that with our team. All of our parents got along. Everyone was always together, no matter what. Like if someone needed a ride, or like even the little things, like someone needed a ride, someone's parents was gonna be there, or like it's so beautiful how everyone can set aside differences and just work together towards the same goal.
I think sports is one of those things that it has the capability to transcend boundaries. Ever since Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, things have not been the same in sports, and I think sports is one of the few things that has the power to not only bring players together, like Jesus says, but also a community. All of us root for the Angels, and the Angels community is such a fun place to be. And that's something to hang your hat on. Hey, my sports team is doing well. Hey, my fans are pulling to win.
Yeah.
And like the main reason why I kind of wanted to have this open conversation is in a time where I feel like we're all divided for very good reason. There needs to be something, or at least for me, I fall back on sports on bringing us back together and rebuild. Because at this point, it's all about rebuilding, and what can we do to rebuild. And as much as it hurts to see America like this, we got to start somewhere. And I think sports is definitely a great place to start.
I think sports really allows people to come together over times of just absolute turmoil. I played in a game, I think it was my freshman year, where the other team, a player had their mom die of, I think, breast cancer, and it was very sad.
Buena Park High School.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it felt weird being the opposing team to them, but they played their heart out. It really showed how much like people can like come together, and some of the kids were like, they were crying after the game. It was absolutely beautiful. I'd say that's one of my favorite games that I've ever played because of the true like emotion. I have this Skaggs 40. Well, you can't really see it. It's inverted.
I have that too.
Somewhere. I was at the game when Tyler Skaggs passed away last year during the summer. all the fans came together. There was a the game at Angel Stadium where the Angels turned around and they threw a no-hitter in his remembrance, and that's crazy, you know. People coming together through these tough times. Something that just happened today. Weston McKennie, you probably don't know who he is. He plays in the Bundesliga, who just started their season back up again. He's an American player playing in the Bundesliga, the German soccer league, and he donned the armband, Justice for George Floyd. The sports world is a great place for people to speak their opinions and let their opinions be heard. I remember there was another soccer player. Yeah, they use their platform and they let their voices be heard. I've seen posts from LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Joe Adele. Like all these people are, you know, they're using their platform.
I think it's cool too how they do it in a way that's very encompassing and very respectful. Like there's a certain tone they take on that is very empowering, but it's also very aware of the circumstance. And I think that's also what's beautiful about sports. It's not always hard hitting to the point. They're very reflective. They're very open and very, very loving and compassionate. And that's also a testament to the true power of sports.
I think we really saw that with soccer. Like, I don't know how much you guys follow soccer, but soccer in Europe is so powerful. And like also the World Cup, as I was saying, like soccer, when Spain was getting hit hard by COVID, Messi donated 70% of his salary to COVID relief. Like, it's just so powerful because like Messi isn't even he's not even born in Spain. He's from Argentina, and the fact that like he's like, thank you. He thanks Spain, thanks Barcelona for the opportunity he was given to play there. He donates his money in relief. Like, it's just beautiful to see how like even though someone isn't born in that country, or like with soccer, like someone isn't born in that country, like these Europeans, like they really love their soccer, obviously, and they just really like they bring them into the community. They love them and they respect the players for who they are. Like, let's say it doesn't matter where you come from, like you're just loved. And I feel like that's why sports has such a powerful message towards the world in general.
Yeah, Brandon said it earlier of, you know, it brings people together, how like a team works together, you know, for like the same goal. But then you have to remember, not all sports are team sports. You know, there's golf and there's tennis, and the thing that, you know, you're not working together with another person, but the thing that you see there is gamesmanship. Gamesmanship. And I watch tennis a lot. I really enjoy the sport. And, you know, after any game, match, no matter how intense like the competition was, both players come together, they shake hands, they're always talking. You know, I know in tennis, you know, many players from around the world, but they all, you know, share that same love for tennis. And, you know, they greet each other and they, you know, congratulate each other on a hard-fought match. And I just love to see that. You know, in my life, I played baseball on my, if you even can see in my room, you know, I got bobbleheads. It might be hard to see, but there's like a picture right there of it's like a ton of baseballs together. You know, I played baseball all my life, but, you know, it could have been different for me. My dad was a tennis coach from like 5 years before I was born until I was like 10. He's always loved tennis, but the reason he wanted me to join baseball is because he wanted me to join a team sport, and I love it. You know, baseball, you could learn so many things from it. Patience, you know, you only get 3-4 chances a game, you know, hitting to make it count. You know, discipline, you know, not letting your emotions get the best of you. Cause
working under stress too.
Yeah. I mean, in baseball, the best players fail 7 out of 10 times. Like you gotta be able to like be mentally tough to compete. I'm not saying physically it's the hardest sport. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying like you can learn a lot, and you have to be not as physically athletic to play it, but just mentally it's a huge mental game.
Also for team sports, the beauty of it is sometimes you're gonna pick your teammates up, and other times teammates are gonna have to pick you up. Like that's just the nature of team sports. You see it, and it's just like a beautiful sight to see, whether it be baseball, football, basketball, and it's just beautiful.
You know, we talk about sports having this really ginormous and really influential power on the community, but the question I pose to you guys is there a sports moment that you can pick out in your life that has really shaped the way you have become today? I can start,
like personal moments that we have playing sports. Okay.
Yeah, I can start if you guys need a question. If you guys need a moment.
Yeah. I need a moment.
I clearly remember this, and I will honestly remember this for the rest of my life. I think I probably told you guys once or twice here and there, but in second grade, same with Steven, I played baseball since I was 6. I started in my local league, but my local league collapsed, and I switched over to the league the city overed me because they had changed from Little League to Pony. And I joined this team, and I was bad. Like, I was easily the worst player on this team, but this team was super good, and they had all the superstar players. And, you know, when I went to bat, I'd always strike out. I batted ninth. I played right field. For those who don't play baseball, those are stereotypically the positions where the worst player plays. And I wanted to be good. And the thing was, I was good at basketball at the same time. So I was really good on my basketball team, but I wasn't good at baseball. And I was getting super frustrated just because I wasn't being good. And back then, obviously, I didn't understand the power of hard work. And I remember the day before the season opening day came. But granted, we haven't even played the season yet. It was the day before opening day, and I told my parents, I said, Dad, Mom, I want to quit. And they were shocked because they've never heard me talk like that before. But they said, okay, let's talk to your coach and see what he says. And the coach sat me down, and I remember sitting, I know exactly where the bleacher was. This is the crazy thing. I know exactly where we sat, and he talked to me, and he said, you know, I don't care if you're the best player. I don't care if you're the worst player. I'm going to give you my 100%. I expect the same 100% out of you. And he said, I am not going to quit on you if you're not going to quit on me. And that was probably the strongest thing that he's ever said to me. So I decided not to quit. I decided to keep playing baseball. I struggled that year, you know, but I kept playing. And then 2 years later, I made the All-Star team. And I went from being the worst player to one of the better players in the league. And I accomplished my dream of playing high school baseball with Oxford. And I still today try my best to succeed and be a key component in my team. But if it wasn't for Coach McFarland, I would not be sitting in front of you today discussing this with you, let alone on this podcast. So that moment really, really defined my life.
Yeah, with me, mine happened my freshman year in a game. We were playing high school. I forgot what city they're from. They're called Sage Hill, and they were. I didn't know that well. Because I was a freshman, but I knew from watching my brother in the previous 2 years that they were like a rival team. And their bench would always heckle us from outside the field, and I wanted to beat them bad. And so it was the last inning. I was up with 2 outs. It was first and third. We were down by 1 run, so our tying runner was on third. And I went up there. I didn't feel that pressured because I didn't feel how big the magnitude of the game was, how much our team wanted to beat them. And I hadn't been in a spot like that, like, tying run on first, a hit we win, or, tie it up, an out we lose. I hadn't been in that spot really before. So I ended up grounding out and game over. And, I said a little bit ago, don't let them, baseball's taught me, don't let emotions get the best of you. But this was a time it did. I didn't cry because I wasn't sad. I was just mad at myself. I was mad that I didn't get a hit because up until that point I was hitting, pretty well for, being a freshman. So I took my batting gloves off and I just ripped them I ripped the straps off so I couldn't wear them again. And I did it where no one could see because I didn't want anyone seeing that, how mad I was. But going, on the drive home from the field, I was thinking it's just one game. it's just one loss. No one's blaming the loss on me. It's baseball. There's 9 guys on a field. Not a team wins and loses a game. It's not just one player. Mm-hmm. And then the next time we played them, which was 2 days later, because they were a league opponent, we were at their place, and I wanted to beat them so bad. I was so motivated in that game to do whatever it took. I wanted to be in the position to win or lose a game because I wanted the redemption. I didn't get like the exact last moment, but it was the last inning when they had one of their star players up, who was a phenomenal bunter, and he was the leadoff hitter of the last inning, and we were only up by 1. Yeah, we were only up by 1, and I'm playing third base, and their bench heckles us, but I'm the closest, I could hear it the loudest, and I wanted to just show them up so bad, do whatever it takes, and I knew he was gonna bunt, and I was playing like 5-6 feet on the grass,
yeah,
and he still bunts, and I was like, okay, and I was running to get the ball, and my brothers even told me after, because he was pitching on the mound. My brother even told me after that, like, oh, if it was me, I would have let it roll, because it was borderline on the chalk, one of the best bunts I've ever seen. And I'm still playing in, and I get it, and it's still a bang bang play, like it's super close. And I threw it, and Jesus, he's at first and makes this phenomenal pick, gets him out.
Goodness,
and I was so happy. That was one of the best games I played, because I don't know why.
That was such a high play. That was such a high game too.
Yeah, they hit the ball to me like 5 or 6 times that game, but this was the one play I remember because last inning, and it was a really good play, really good pick by Jesus.
It was a momentum killer.
Because even though we're only up by 1, I know getting the first out in the last inning is the hardest thing to do in baseball, but it's like Jesus said, the momentum killer. And that game just showed me, you got to learn to deal with failure, and I wanted it so much in that game to be put on the spot. And
going back to the gravity of that play, I remember I was at second base. The few times I played second base, but I saw that throw and I went, oh no! And I started sprinting behind first, trying to back up me. And Jesus makes that pick, and
I didn't even think. I grabbed it and threw it. I didn't. I didn't really look at Jesus, because when my eyes went up, I saw he was so close to the bag. I don't know how, because the ball was just that good.
It was a phenomenal play by both you and Jesus. Yeah. I just remember going, "Wow, this is the power of a team." Like, Steven makes a great play, doesn't make the best of throw, but his teammate Jesus is right there to pick him up, and it was so incredible to watch, just the whole thing unfold.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna run it back a long time ago. I was 7 or 8. I was 7 or 8 years old. I was playing Little League, and it was not an all-star game, but it was just like the best players of each team in B minor, which is AA, 7 and 8 year olds. And I met this kid. His name was David, and he was playing second. I was playing first. And it was like, we start talking, I become his friend. And then later I find out from my parents that his year ago, he was involved in a really bad car accident, and he lost his dad, his brother, his older brother, who played at our Little League too. There's a little plaque of him in our North Anaheim Little League field. His name was Alan Torres, and he lost his sister too. And his mom got really she had injuries from the crash, and he was the only one that nothing happened to him. He was scratchless. And so the fact that he still was strong enough to keep on playing the sport after losing his older brother and his dad, his sister, that just really impacted me. It wasn't really about me, but the fact that I was able to see someone still power through. Sports is family. Sports is something that can distract you from what's going on in the real world. That's when I realized that sports it's not just a game. It's much more than that. And he made a fantastic diving play, and I was just damn, this kid he's a warrior, man. He's lost half of his family, and he's still he still played. He still had a smile on his face. Like he was able to erase what had happened, and like, but when you're between the lines, like you just like as our coach Corey would say, when you're in between the lines, it's just you and the game. Like just you have to give your focus, your full attention, and that's what's beautiful about it. You can forget what's going on at home. You can have problem. It's not just about like it can be like problems at home or anything. Like sports
it's a place to let release let go of the real world for a couple hours.
Yeah, and just be with your buddies. Be like I endless amount of times like I just enjoyed being out on the baseball field with my friends, having a blast, like with coaches too. Like we really build a family, and it's just beautiful like that's when even though I was little, I started to realize like, hey, baseball, football, like team sports are really inspiring, and like can really like push the best out of you, even though you may be going through a difficult journey in life.
I haven't had many of those types of moments, but I'd say probably like going back to Jesus said about family and like learning, like so I've played in the same little league since I was like 5, 6, maybe. Yes. I don't know. And so every the last couple of summers we would join together, and after our high school seasons we would join together and we would play the tournament, the juniors tournament, the seniors tournament, whatever they called it. And every time we'd play with each other, it was always so much fun because, like, you know, we don't get to see each other all the time. You know, some people are at the local high school. I'm at the high school that's far away. So it's a great time for us all to come together and, you know, work together as a team. And I'm specifically remembering about like last year our team was, I wouldn't say we were like the greatest team ever.
We had a ton of depth, I would say.
We did have depth. We had depth, and, you know, there wasn't a lot of competition. So we knew we could kind of grace through it and get to the big stage. But yeah, we ended up going to the state championship. Now this was like a really big deal for us because we had never gotten that far. All of us had been playing in the league for like around 10 years pretty much, and we had never gotten this far, and it was really big for all of us. And, you know, the parents were super loud. I'd say I became really, really great friends with a couple of kids that I didn't really know much of. There's this kid on my team, Alex, right? That was his name? Steven, you were on the team.
Yeah. Yes,
Alex?
I know
Yeah.
him. Mm-hmm. The one who goes to Savannah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know him. And, you know, through this, I got to learn a ton about him. He's a great guy. I love him. And, you know, there's other players who played on me when I was 15 that one year. And when we got to the state championship, we lost to a team.
They're from like
Hawthorne.
San Diego. Yeah, they're from
Hawthorne.
like, it's like super Southern California.
That's like Los Angeles, I think. Around that area.
Hawthorne is LA.
Yeah, Hawthorne.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was a grueling fight. I mean, I don't know what I did that game. It
went like 3 or 4 extra innings or something like that.
Oh yeah, I caught all 9 innings. It was grueling on my legs, but I do it. You know, being a catcher, I've caught some crazy games. I've caught one time I caught a full doubleheader, but like
15 inning game.
Yeah,
last game.
That was another game that I was thinking about too, but that's for a later date. But everyone on our team is actively like, we did not want to lose because we knew that there were going to be players that were going to leave and never be able to play on this type of team again. So it was really, really emotional when we ended up losing that last game. And, you know, there was kids that were crying. I was like down in the dumps. I was really sad because like there's a well, now with coronavirus, this would have been my last summer to be able to play, and now I can't play with them. Yeah. And that's really, really sad because I consider these group of guys my family. Same way as I consider you guys on the high school team my family as well.
Yeah, I can relate because like I was on that team with Shelly too. Unfortunately, even without coronavirus, that was my last year. I hit the age limit for it, but yeah, it was a super sad way to end it. I mean, we didn't play as many games as you would think to get to that tournament because, as Shelly said, there wasn't a lot of competition. But still, like, from, I played in the same Little League as Shelly since I was like 4 or 5, just like him. And, started All-Stars when I was 9. And from when I was 9 up until last year when I was for that tournament when I was 16, I hadn't won one game in the second round of All-Stars. I had won every year except once out of the 6 or 7 years to get to the second round, but I've never won one game because, like, the teams that we faced in that second round, they would be the type of teams you would see in the Little League World Series. The people from Southern California, like Southern California, like San Diego area, Chula Vista.
Didn't you guys play the team that eventually went to the Little League World Series?
It wasn't me, it was my brother. He lost to the team that won it all, or lost to the team who lost to the team that won it all. But yeah, but winning, we only had to beat one team in a best 2 out of 3 series to win the second round and go to the state tournament. So, like, it wasn't like a huge deal, but, like, I really felt it for me because, it was my last year playing in that Little League that I've called, home before high school. I'd spend all day at the field, but, to win my last year in that second round, it was a great, and we won on a walk-off. That was cool. I scored the game-winning run. That was pretty cool. I felt like, that all that hard work paid off.
Yeah, I think going back to Jesus' point of being able to just release some of that energy to take a step away from the real world is something that, I would like to have right now. The events going on in our nation, as I said earlier, is unfortunately, tearing us apart. And I feel if we could have this open conversation, touch at least one person, who just needs a place to escape. Yeah. And I know sports is all of our places to escape, just for, the 2-3 hours out there for practice or for a game. And the inability to have sports in, or at least watch it even, I know after school, sometimes I come home, turn the TV on 8:00, the Angels game is running. And that was something I always look forward to, just watching an inning here or there. And I feel, if we can get something going, sports would really help us rebuild.
I especially for me, like I miss like the NBA. The NBA would be a perfect position for right now. Like they're totally like pro player, the player can speak his mind, and like the way we saw like with LeBron before and with the Heat, and how he's a leader in the matter of the fact that like he's the one who always, like, I don't want to say like starts, but like he allows like every other like NBA player he was the one who started player more mobility, make it a pro player league, so you can speak your mind, be able to engage with the community. That's in the end what you want. Like you want to feel a connection between your local team, we feel connection with the Angels, like our friends feel connections with the Dodgers. Like it's still there. Like no matter how different another team can be, like it's just, and the NBA would really like help ease the tensions a little in our country right now.
And, even that, you talk about, Angels fans supporting the Angels, Dodgers fans supporting the Dodgers, but in the end, we're all brought together by the universal language of baseball. And even at that point, you're brought together by the universal language of sports. No matter, if you're a fan of cricket, if you're a fan of lacrosse, if you're a fan of F1, in the end, it's the spirit of coming together, having a good time, and the sense of community that is so special and so endearing.
Yeah, I want to touch back on like what Brandon said earlier about like the World Cup, because I thought that was a great example. Like Jesus was saying,
Jesus talked about the World Cup today.
Jesus, because like Shelly follows soccer, but we're not like huge soccer fans.
But in the World Cup,
I love the World Cup.
The World Cup is amazing. It's
fun to watch because you have an entire nation around. It's not just like in basketball, baseball, football, where it's like certain populations, areas around the country. You have an entire nation supporting you, and not even just the World Cup. Like, we weren't alive during the time, but the Miracle on Ice when US beat the Soviet Union in hockey, like that was just a big deal. One of the biggest sports moments in like US history. And you know, with the World Cup, you know, soccer's not a huge thing in the US, but then look at our women's national team, who like it's an automatic World Cup win for them. Like I just love I love when the US is playing and then they cut to like different cities around the country with reactions of people. I love that because like you know they might go for the same basketball team or same soccer team, but at you know, through those 2-3 weeks, however long World Cup is, an entire nation is supporting one team, and I love that.
I mean, heck,
during the Women's World Cup, like everyone was talking about it. Everyone. I remember my AP US history teacher has a banner of the USA soccer badge on her wall. Like everyone was tuned into this. It was great. No matter if you were white, if you were African American, if you were Asian, if you were Hispanic, if you were anything else, you were automatically tuned into this team because it really brought together the entire nation. And another great thing about it is that it's a women's sport, and traditionally, I'm not saying this as an opinion, traditionally women's sports aren't usually covered, but for this, it was so great. Such a strong team of women competing their butts off, and they really, really, you know, they brought home the title, and that was, you know, it really united the United States.
Also, and even the Olympics, I think it was 1984 when it was in LA, or it might have been the World Cup. I don't know if it was the Olympics or the World Cup when the US played the title game at the Coliseum in LA. And it was like the most watched sports event at the time, like of all time, not just like soccer, but like most watched sports event.
Like even the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Like it was insane. Before this World Cup, like, you know, US soccer wasn't like,
they were a laughing stock, basically.
Yeah. And then
a lot of laughing stock.
I remember going. I seen like a 30 for 30 or something on it for that year when, you know, they would go to New York, and that's when they started getting popular. They had like a huge crowd there, and then when they go back to the title game, like it was packed. The U.S. won on in penalty kicks. I'm pretty sure. I forgot the name of the player. The famous. She took off her shirt and like whipping it around. Yeah, I forgot her name.
Brandy Chastain.
I knew her first name started with Brandy. I was almost positive for that.
Brandy Chastain.
But yeah, it's a huge sporting event for the U.S. You know, you think of that. I mean, I'm not being biased here because I'm an Auburn fan, but the kick six Auburn had against Alabama. You can't make those sporting events up when the clock hit 0 and they were going to go to overtime, but Alabama decides to throw the challenge flag like, hey, there's a second left. They brought a second left. They go out to kick instead of going for a Hail Mary, which people thought. And Auburn takes 109 kickoff. It was short, and he returned it. Yeah, you know, it was a famous call. It was a famous call. That man sadly did pass away earlier this year or late last year. But you know, you can't make certain sporting events up, you know, and it's just great.
Something I want to point back to the World Cup that like not an average soccer fan may know, like you or I, but like the World Cup is an enormous opportunity for these smaller countries, like third world countries where they don't promote their players as much, for them to showcase their skills. Like, for example, in 2010, you guys know Chicharito from Mexico.
Yeah,
he blew up. And what do you know? Manchester United gave him, like, obviously, like, if you follow him, it didn't really work out, but they still gave him an opportunity. Like, these players, like, it means so much to them to represent their country. Like, I feel like these players would die for their country, literally. But it just really shows like they take it so serious because this is like it. What makes it special? It's every 4 years, like so. This is like once every 4 years. This is the time I have to showcase my skills. Hopefully, get in 2014. James from Colombia blew up, and Real Madrid signed him. Like it's just beautiful to see.
Mbappe too. I forgot his first name.
Mbappe was already like special.
Yeah, but he was super young. That's why the world blew up on him.
Yeah, it's just beautiful to see like how these players like they're like this is the like in small countries like Uruguay, Paraguay, like these South American or like these countries from Africa too, like I forgot.
Ghana. Remember Ghana in the World
Cup?
Yeah.
In 2010, like awesome. Bro, like the world was with Ghana, and like it's just beautiful to see how and it's just special to see how these players like this is the chance they have to showcase their skills to find a new life, and it's just amazing to see how like some of these players like their success stories go, and they're like their careers take a good jump from the World Cup.
I know we're talking a lot about how the sport's impact on America, but like Jesus said, it's an international thing. I'm not sure if you guys paid attention to the Euros. I'm not sure what year this was, but it was like a couple years back. Iceland.
Yeah,
like Iceland made it to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, Iceland has a smaller population than Anaheim. Like just to put that into perspective.
And they only have, I think, like 1 or 2 football facilities.
Yeah,
on in their country.
Oh, I remember that.
When they came together, and all of the fans, all of the Icelandic fans came out to that stadium, and they did the ooh. That was the coolest thing ever. It totally united the country. And after that, people legitimately
they literally beat England 2-1. That was the game where
that we're hearing about that.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
There's no player on that team. Like the only player that I can think of is Sigurdsson, who played for Swansea.
And their goalie was a movie director with this time off. Like it was just like phenomenal to see like how they came together and like literally carried their nation on their backs. And I mean, their style of play was unconventional because they'd play literally like all guys defending and they just counter every once in a while, but it was still remarkable to see like how far they went.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like, because I know we talked about it, I think 2 episodes ago of, because for the World Cup, countries rallying around a team in the 2001 World Series. I know we talked about it with the Yankees.
That we talked about it.
Yeah, okay. Yankees and Diamondbacks. And it was, a month and a half, 2 months after
they're playing in November.
11, it was November baseball.
I believe baseball was correct me if I'm wrong, but baseball was the first sport to come back.
Yeah,
it was the infamous game with the famous. It was
the Mike Piazza home run.
Yeah, Yankees and Red Sox, wasn't it?
And he came to the plate. I think he had a helmet on that said NYPD on it.
Yeah.
Or
that
FD,
was just spectacular.
FD, the Yankees are a tremendously popular team, but popular in kind of bad way. Yeah, they're not
hated.
They're hated. But everyone wanted them to win. Sadly, they didn't. It was off a walk-off, but that just showed, especially what we were saying with Mike Piazza hitting the home run, for the New York Mets, in the same city, hit so hard.
He gave them
a
hope.
Tragic event.
He literally he gave the city hope. Like that's just something that's like you can't put that in a script.
You can't script. Exactly.
They want something to latch on to after such a tragic event, and here comes baseball. Here comes a team from. I mean, New York was still good, but here comes the Yankees. Wanting to give their city hope after a tragic event.
Yeah, we also saw that with the Red Sox, and I mean the marathon bombings weren't as
won
big,
the World Series that year.
Yeah,
when Daniel Nava hit the grand slam, I think.
Yeah,
that was huge. That's the loudest I've ever seen that ballpark, other than when Big Papi hit the grand slam.
Oh yeah,
in 2013.
But they had their outfields mode to spell out Boston Strong.
Yeah.
And, you know, that happened early in the year, like super early in the year. Yeah. And then Boston, though they won the World Series in 2004, it was only their second World Series in like 75 years. Like, you know,
they won in 2007 too, but yeah.
Okay. But you know, it you know, sports brought that city together. And even the Bruins, I think right after that, the Bruins were their first game back, they had the crowd sing the national anthem or something like that. It was something to show like, oh, this is love for the city of Boston. We're gonna have the audience sing the national anthem, and you know that entire city rallied around their sports, because you know their sports are normally good. The Red Sox, the Bruins,
the Patriots.
You know.
When I think of like heroic games, very emotional games, I think of the. It was in late September 2016 when Jose Fernandez died in the
D. Gordon.
Oh
yeah, D. Gordon.
And D. Gordon came into play. Yeah. If you don't know D. Gordon,
he has zero pop.
Zero pop. He is a very skinny and short man. He's well known for stealing bases. He makes good defensive plays. Yeah. He can run out of grounder.
Contact hitter.
Very much of a contact hitter. And when he stepped up to the plate wearing Jose Fernandez's jersey on the back, and he hit a dinger, like it was like
you could feel him in the stadium. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You could feel Jose in the stadium.
Strength to say, hey, you're gonna hit a home run today. And D. Gordon and Jose Fernandez were really good friends. And he was rounding the bases just crying, and all of his teammates consoling him after the home run. And it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful.
His famous
no other thing ties people together than sports. Sports, like if there's anything we need right now, it's sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
please bring back sports.
Definitely.
Yeah, we're
yeah, that's what I'm hoping to. You know, I hope, and I know we're still amid the pandemic. Unfortunately, you know, that's also going to take time. But you know, I really feel that sports has that capability to start the rebuilding process.
Yeah,
as we said multiple times, you know, it transcends reality, and it just gives America something else to think about, take their minds off of, and ultimately refoster a better community. Hopefully, you know, I know, I'm sure we'll cover it in a couple of days, but the new proposals that have been coming out, you know, we're getting closer, you know, but hopefully something gets accelerated in soon.
Yeah, and you know, we need something else to watch besides the news on the TV, because news, you know, you turn it on, it's only bad things. You know, you know, there's like, some special cases at the end, like the best thing that happened in America. Yeah, you know, and then
it's just a bunch of negative information being fed to us. So like we're generally gonna be like thinking negative thoughts and like think down on not ourselves, but like down on society. Like, hey, like damn, like what we're going through is really tough. Like it can lead into depression too. Like, but
and you know, watching you know, flashback games, you know, big games, that's cool, saying like, oh, sports still exists, but you know, it doesn't do the same, because not only do you know the outcome, but like it's not as exciting as you know, seeing it live. You know, watching live sports is like the best thing to do. And one good thing that did happen, you know, SpaceX did launch their thing. It's not like a sporty thing, but it's something good that's happening in America.
Monumental.
We launched, you know, it was the first launch
in 9 years, and first time a private company has sent U.S. astronauts to space.
Yeah, so you know, it's not sports, but it's still something good that's happening within our country, because you know we're desperate for it. We need something good to happen in our country to, you know, rely on to get us through these tough times.
Yeah, I think nothing bad that can come from sports. Only good can come from sports.
Yeah. Like, who doesn't love seeing the underdog winning, the Nationals winning, you know, the title? Yeah,
UMBC. Was that
yeah,
beating
you know,
Virginia?
like just anything, like exactly, like just out of honestly, like out of any game, you can take something, you can learn something from any like game, from any sport, from like at any day, and like apply it to your day, or like apply it to your daily life, or not only that, but just like think about it, like remember, and like that becomes a part of you, like you live through that moment.
Yeah, that's an important thing, saying that you've been through that moment with what Shelly was saying of UMBC beating Virginia. If you don't know, was it 2017?
Yeah, it was. I was in Las Vegas. I was in Las Vegas.
I remember exactly where I was.
Yeah.
So it was March Madness for college basketball. I picked Virginia to win it all. They had like a 40% chance of winning all, which is super high. The next highest was like 16. It was the first time a 16 seed in men's college basketball had ever been a 1 seed.
And it wasn't even close. It was a blowout.
Yeah, it was like a 20-point victory. And the reason it was the first time is because when the bracketology guys match up the opponents, they make it so the first seed can get past that first round.
Yeah.
UMBC played like they have nothing to lose. They didn't.
Yeah.
They're playing the best team in college basketball.
Yeah, they're playing loose.
They're on a national stage. That's probably the first time that college has ever played on national TV in their history. I remember I was sitting outside, I was eating my dinner, and I was watching. I just saw the lead keep like extending. I was like, okay, Virginia's getting come back. Next thing you know, they're up by 10 with like 3 minutes left.
Yeah,
like,
and then you're like, dang.
You know, you can't be mad at it, though, because you could say you lived through that, you know? Yeah. We're going to be able to say, hey, we watched LeBron James play. You know, we had a debate who's better, LeBron or Jordan. People say they saw Jordan play. We could say we got to see LeBron. We got to see Mike Trout play, you know?
We got to see Tom Brady. We got to see Tiger Woods.
Floyd Mayweather,
we got to see Lance Armstrong. Not Lance Armstrong, I mean, kind of.
Well, we were pretty young for that. But, like, you know, sports gives you that experience that almost nothing else can match. Yeah. You know, especially playing it, you know, playing in big moments too.
Mm-hmm. Just moments the moments to live for. And it's, I know I get chills, you know, watching the famous highlights and stuff. So, I mean, I can easily recite multiple famous calls. Just it's the power of sports, and you can't make this stuff up. It happens, and it's beautiful when it does. And I think that's something our nation's unfortunately missing right now.
I think I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say stress brings good things, because like you're watching a game and there's something, it's bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, team is down by 2 or down by 3, and then the player hits a grand slam. Like, that's just, it's insane. Like the euphoria it brings
magical
to the people of all around. I remember when I was playing in the second round game and my coach put me in to hit, and I didn't hit well at all last year, okay? And he put me in. I remember him specifically telling me a practice or two ago, hey, if I put you in, you're bunting, okay? So if I went in, I knew I was going to bunt. And thinking in my head, I knew everyone on our team wanted this game. Everyone wanted this game. And we were trying to like scrap together, like put together at least just one run. It was 0-0 up into the 15th inning.
Yeah.
And he put me in with the runner, I think, on first, and he called the drag bunt, and I like threw out my bat and somehow got it down. That was probably one of my most favorite moments playing of all time, because of the pure like euphoria. It lifted me up. I'm sure it lifted up the entire team. I'm sure it lifted you guys up. And you know, while we still lost that game, that was one of my favorite, if not my most favorite game of baseball that I've ever played.
And that could bring in another question, like what's your guys' like favorite sport experience you have? We talked about like a defining moment earlier, but like what's been your like the favorite you have? And like Brandon said, I'll start off just if you guys need to think.
Okay.
Mine was so once again in freshman year, I think it was like the 10th game, 11th game of the season, something like that. My freshman year, I started the year playing defense but not hitting because I just didn't have a spot, and our like DH was like still like good, but I was put in randomly in this game to start hitting, and the first pitch I ever saw, I hit. I got a hit up the middle. It was a ground ball up the middle. And then when I got to first, I was like, okay, it's my time to stay. I'm going to stay in this starting lineup. You know, yes, we were talking about, yeah, we're a family, but this was the time I wanted to be competitive and aggressive. I didn't want to leave my spot out of the lineup. I wanted to go out and prove every game that I should stay in the lineup. And, you know, it worked in the end. I had a pretty good freshman season hitting, and, you know, it was a lot of fun. And I'll just always remember that first at bat I had. You know, it was the first pitch I saw too, so I thought that was pretty cool.
My favorite moment, like, okay, it wasn't. I mean, it was at USC. I like pitching at USC. It was really memorable. We were up against the Division II Southern Section champions eventually, I think. Oh yeah, Division III, and then they got moved up to D1 because their whole lineup was a bunch of D1 commits. So, but yeah, just not allowing a run. Like, I just thought that was. I mean, yeah, they still rocked me, but hey, they didn't score a run. Yeah, I just thought that was really cool. Like, I just like, I don't care. Yeah, our competition sometimes was like astronomically better than us, but it really like it gets the best out of you, and it like without like as much as you hate competition, without competition there's no sport. Like you don't play. So like, I don't know, like I really like that really helped me value like my competition and like how to like play up to competition. Like you're gonna have to eventually. Like there's always someone that's gonna be better than you at something.
I even going out, like, because I was the bullpen catcher at the time, I would go out to like catch the first couple pitches while our starting catcher would be getting ready. That'd be so awesome, just to step on that field and just like catch a couple baseballs. I ended up pitching in that game, and that was one of my favorite. Like I said, the second round CIF game was one of my favorites. This is another one of my favorites because, like, I'm not a pitcher. I don't think I'm a pitcher, at least. And I came out and I got a 1-2-3 inning.
Yeah.
He's just a freshman. But I mean, anyways, but my favorite game, and I don't know if you had to play in the game, but this was the game that I was talking about earlier, the Tyler Skaggs game. My mom specifically got me the tickets because I was really beat up about it, because Tyler Skaggs was one of my favorite pitchers. There's not many good pitchers in the Angels, and he was one of the good pitchers. And not only that, but he was such a character, and you know, knowing what he meant to all the guys on the team, you know, it was really touching. And to be there and watch his mom throughout the first pitch, and every inning goes by with no hits, and you know, the fans are standing up and clapping. I'm high-fiving the people behind me, the people in front of me. We're all coming together, and we're really, you know, just enjoying this time through like really sad times, you know. And when they got the no-hitter, oh my gosh, that was the best feeling ever. Best feeling of all time. So yeah, that's my favorite baseball moment.
Still chill thinking about that, watching on TV. I remember the final play. I was similar to Steven. You know, I fought my way to get a starting position my freshman year, beat out the right fielder, finally got the starting job. You know, I could talk easily about, you know, the second round CIF game, which went to 15 innings, which is also super memorable. But I think for me, is my all-star season where I pitched 6 1/3 in the district championships, trying to go the full game, obviously, but I threw my heart out. I know Steven's gonna laugh at me for this, because I keep mentioning it up, but I threw 125 pitches, and like that to me, I remember my dad saying, "Are you sure you want to do this?" I was like, "Dad, I want to do this." And he asked twice, and my coach asked my dad too, "Can he throw?" Because, you know, if 125 pitches is ridiculous, like even from major leagues, and I was doing it in 6th grade. And, you know, even though I couldn't finish the game, you know, I remember my friend came in, he got the last 2 outs, and just thinking, wow, we did it. We won districts. And, you know, I have a plaque in Oak Knoll Park in Cyprus to go for it. My name's up on the on that fence, and it's super cool. Like I hope the field stays up, and I'm sure I'll show you guys this year. I don't think you guys have seen it, but it's something to hang your hat on. Hey, I did that. Hey, I was a part of that team, and it's truly something really special.
Well, let's get into it for our episode today. We started this podcast because we wanted to, talk about the things we love, which are sports. And this episode, we wanted to create, not because there's no news to report, but just because with everything going on in our country, we wanted to explain that sports are vital to our country, not for success or anything, just for the people. Whether you're playing a sport, whether you're watching or playing a sport, it changes you for the better. It shows, teamwork, sportsmanship, and it's very important in our lives, and we just wanted to express that. So we've said in every episode, this will be available on Spotify, all our streaming services, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that biz. One day early. YouTube will come out the next day. Hope you like this episode. Hope that sports are important to you.
Comment what you think below.
Comment your favorite moments of sports. We're all talking.
Comment your favorite sport moment, whether something you watch, something you played, experience,
or comment what sports mean to you. We want to hear. We want to hear from everyone.
Yeah, we want you watch us because you love sports too, and we want to know how sports have impacted your life. So, all right, let's get into it. Peace.
Thank you.